become like J. August Richard. I just really discovered, I've known about twatting for a while.
Did you say twatting?
But I've just discovered the joy of sending out my own twats.
I'm sure your twats are very nice.
Okay. Lift your hands up. Lift your hands up. Oh, there it is.
I kind of feel like that's our get well card to Amy after.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Good, nicely done. So thank you guys so much for showing up. I'm so excited to have you guys here.
Thank you.
It's great to be here.
So what do you think of DragonCon, our fair convention here? Miss Kristine, this is your first DragonCon.
Yes.
First DragonCon. So excited.
No, I think it's fabulous. It reminds me of home. All the people on the streets, it's like Times Square. I love it. I love the energy. I'm pumped. I'm glad to be here. So, thank you.
Pumped.
So are you guys bummed that it's not my first time at DragonCon?
I was going to say, why'd you come back, but that's great. So we have some lovely people in the back with microphones. Can you guys raise your hands? They are going to take your questions if you would like to ask our lovely panelists some questions. So if you want to line up in the back, they're going to ask, you can ask your own questions, so go ahead and line up.
Or somebody else.
Yeah, if you want to ask, like if you're introverted and you don't feel like you can, have an extroverted friend ask for you. Don't be shy.
How many here are introverts? Raise your hand. And how many extroverts?
I call bullshit on you. Couldn't believe that one bit.
So, okay.
And you too, buddy.
So,
In the life of the party, I can tell.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer is my favorite show, literally on the planet. So having the two of you here, and I love you, Miracle, God bless you. But
I love Buffy too. It's not like it's a secret. It's all just, it's a love fest. It's fun.
so having you two here is really exciting for me. But I just wanted to know what it was like to be part of a show that has such a rabid, loving following.
It's so funny because usually, like rabbit, if it's an animal, it's not a good thing at all. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not touching that animal. But a fan base, it's amazing, you know. So, it's kind of I'll answer first, Christine.
Ladies first.
Yes. Where was I? Rabid fan base, yes. God, that's not. Hey, listen. So, what's the question? You know, it's something that, it was the first thing that I ever did as an actor, so it's kind of, to me, this is the way that it's always supposed to be. And apparently, talking to my head.
We should do the cup song that I have.
Awesome. I didn't know for me, I don't have anything to compare and contrast with, juxtaposing, of course, parenthetically speaking. So I've always been around you wonderful people, and the great thing about it is that as the years go on, it seems to grow, which is pretty awesome too. Now, how many people here have been fans since day one? Since that Tuesday at 8 o'clock, before we let in for that what was that show? No. No, it is Heaven Help.
You guys were the lead-in for 7 months.
Yeah. And John's had this whole thing where like it was the poster of Buffy, and then it was a set independent, and then it was
Jesus.
But Josh's thing, his tag wanted to be heaven and hell, you decide which. And so how many people became fans after the show aired in 1990? Don't be shy. So hey, it's fine, and nothing wrong with seeing it. So I think it's so wonderful to have these fans, but it's pretty much all I've done. And so I've always expected every show that I had done after Buffy to have that fan base, so it's not particularly that way. At all.
Because you're confidential!
Right, thank you! Criminal Minds, yeah.
No, it was really, it wasn't my first show, and I was older, so for me it was just delicious
Really? It wasn't your first
heaven. No. For me it was delicious heaven, because at that time, TV writing was pretty bad. Pretty bad. And you'd get a script and you'd go, oh my God, if I paraphrase half of this, I can maybe twist it into something that might come out of a human being's mouth. It was awful. And then to get on this show that was so fabulously written was just such a treat. And nowadays, all the best writers follow Jocelyn to television. And there's fantastic stuff, and some of the best writing is on television. Because film is really no longer sort of a writer's medium. But it was heaven to be on a show so well written and so well done, especially at a time when nothing else was.
I thought you guys were great. Karen?
Okay, Hannah. Okay, first off, Miracle, you're so pretty, it's not actually okay.
Thank you.
What are you gonna do about it?
I'm gonna fight.
Compliment
I know fake TV karate, so I gotta tell you it takes. Don't even.
It's really okay. Okay, generic question of, do you have any, like, really funny, endearing, like, moments from onset that you enjoyed? And
Oh my god. So I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. I don't do well with that question because I'm not a good storyteller that way. There were lots of funny, I don't know. Do you guys have like good anecdotes? I'm sure.
That's a great word.
No, it was, it was kind of because it was kind of dark, obviously, in moments in the show itself, and there was a lot going on, and no, I just had the best time, like, every second that I was there, because, like him, it was my first show, and my third day on the set, I had, like, a scene eating Chinese food. Oh, this is a good one. Here we go. So you just have to start yammering, and then jabbering, and yammering. It's like a mockingjay. So it was my third day on the set, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I was with the wonderful Tomo Pennicott, who will be with us tomorrow. But I didn't know what I was doing at all, and I was nervous and excited, and I was a huge fan of Joss and Buffy, and obviously the whole world, and was just so elated to be there as an actor and also a fan. So my third day, I had to do the Chinese food scene, which I will tell you a story about, and then the sex scene, which is awkward, and then the 3 flowers in the vase scene. So that was all like my third day. So it was my first time at the rodeo, and I was terrified, but I had the best time. So the story is, we have to eat Chinese food. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't do a lot of like, Asian fusion, Chinese, any of that type of thing. So I cannot use chopsticks. That's the truth. So the prop guy, Chris, comes up to me and goes, here you go, here's your Chinese food, your chopsticks. And I looked at him and I was like, kind of fork. And he goes, are you kidding? Like, who doesn't know how to use chopsticks? And I said, this guy. So he gave me the fork, and so Melly ate her Chinese food with a fork, and I was at a convention, and a fan came up to me and I said, I just thought it was the best character choice, because Melly's so charming, to like, have her use a fork to eat her Chinese food, and I was like, thank you. It was me, because I think chopsticks. That's my story, that's it, that's as good as
Okay, actually on that first Tuesday, was it a Tuesday?
Was it the air?
Oh no.
Oh, it was shot.
Whatever day it was that we shot, it was the first day of shooting. And it was in front of the school, and I was supposed to drop Buffy off at school. And so I was in the green Jeep, and I was very nervous. And Sarah must have had about 10 cups of coffee. And she was just chatting, and she had the radio on. And I'm just like, oh my God, I just like have to keep it together and remember my lines and what I was supposed to do. And so they called action, and I was supposed to take the car and pull up in front of the school and drop her off. and I put the car in reverse and took off in the wrong direction. And fortunately, I didn't kill anybody or destroy any property.
I think there's like a progressive car insurance commercial that's based on that premise with the human being singing to it. I'm gonna go back. There's so many of them. I mean, all I remember was that you learn to, especially I guess with go to eating. By the way, eating Chinese food with chopsticks, I swear to God, is on a TV show or a movie is one of my biggest pet peeves. It's used all the time. Well, we're just kicking back, got our thing, hey, let's talk about the case or whatever, you know, like police station or whatever, like that. So a fork is the way to go, and I'm proud of you. I would have used a spoon, but it's great. 2 spoons, you know, like a great. But the one thing that I learned was that whenever there were eating scenes, because I forgot, I think it's in the high school years, but I had to do this scene where I was eating Twinkies to impress a girl. And I had done a couple commercials where...
Always works for me.
Yeah, right? And thank God they're back.
Thank God it's here.
Who didn't see that coming, by the way? You know what I mean? It was like, hey, by the way, Coke's gonna change the formula. It's like, yeah, right, you know, I'm not later with the classic. For those of you who remember the names. So anyway, so I just learned that in the master shot, which is the first shot, don't eat anything. It doesn't matter if you're at dinner, you know, you're starving, just don't eat anything because you have to match it and you have to actually swallow. But in that Twinkie scene, since I had to swallow, and that was my way of add lines after I ate these 7 Twinkies in a row, I had to eat those Twinkies and it was just horrible. The shit that they put you through, you know, nobody thinks about us. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like, yeah, I mean, sure, I mean, hunger's a problem and stuff, but how's about overeating on camera? You know what I mean? There should be some sort of like, there should be like some sort of like outreach program for actors. Eat too much on camera. Anyway.
Thank you.
Hey there.
Hey.
Oh, we're going to the other side.
My question's for Nicholas, but first off, before I get into it, I just want to say I've been a fan of you guys for a long time. The Buffy show was fabulous, and actually, Nicholas, you did a great job also on Criminal Minds, portraying that character. I just recently got getting into acting. I've been an entertainer in the city for over 30 years doing singing telegrams. And,
Give us something right now.
Please.
Give us something. You did.
Oh, do a singing telegram for Amy to get well. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Put me on the spot. Okay, get well. Okay, let's see.
No back tricks.
And the get well song goes.
there's got to be one.
I've got one. I'm just trying to remember it on the spot.
Yeah, no, it's.
You don't really have to.
You know what we'll do?
We can
Ask the question.
I tell you what, I'll do my Elvis one,
Okay.
and I can change it to get well for
You're all sick. Oh.
Oh, well, the bless soul, so this I see. You feel it equal, oh, golly gee. And I didn't bring, I get that off. I hope this little bit is good enough when you walk home. Actually, like I said, I just recently got into acting after doing a lot of entertainment through the city. And I know some people, some actors, fellow actors who've been acting with you on Morning South Monster. And I actually know the writer as well, because I write as well too. And just wanted to know what your experience was on that.
It was lovely. It was. I shot it like last November here in by Athens. Right. Okay. And I had a really lovely experience with that. So and I love the kind of do you know anything about the script? Do you know how it like what?
I do know a little bit about the script.
What the red herring is. Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. And the little town I was staying in, they had like a little like a courthouse, and they had a huge Christmas tree. So I'm like, oh, that's Christmas time. It was really pretty. And I just remember that. Very pretty. Had
interesting one. I don't want to give anything away in case somebody was going to actually watch it. Because there are little red herrings in there. So.
God forbid. Thank you, Elvis.
I had a question about Criminal Minds.
Yes.
I'm a total queer girl, so I just wanted to know how kissing Kristen was.
You said that you're a troubled queer girl?
No, I like to queer.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say, listen, let's work on the trouble part. What's it like kissing Kirsten?
Yeah.
What do you think it's like?
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Like you get lost from the eyes to the lips to the cleavage, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? She's like, Nikki, my lips are up here, and I'm like, I'm looking at your lips. You know what I'm talking about?
She's blushing, I can see it.
You're welcome. I'm happy you're not troubled, by the way.
This question is directed at Nicholas.
Directed at.
Well,
There's no direction, Nikki.
what was your favorite episode set to work on with Buffy?
I always kind of put the musical aside because I think everyone's favorite episode was that. So musical aside, to set, I probably